So each of the, on this trip, each of the poets took a day where they were in charge and took us out to one of their favourite places to write about. And Jenny Haukio is a brilliant poet. She took us out into the archipelago, which is an amazing place, like 30,000 islands in the Finnish archipelago, and some of them are very remote and uninhabited, but some of them are quite large with towns on. But she comes from right out in the archipelago originally, and her father is a fisherman. Her father's father was a fisherman going back generations, and her mother makes fabric out of fish skin, makes dresses and things like that out of fish skin. And Haukio means pike in Finnish. So I think she's a mermaid. This is on the day she took us to the island of Vepsa. On the island of Vepsa there's a midsummer pole. 2 couples are training for the wife-carrying race. There are also pike in the reeds. Jenny knows it. They're calling her name. Haukio. Oh, Haukio. But she's doing her best to ignore them and points to an oyster catcher darting from the Laituri, completely unaware that it was recently voted the nation's most beautiful bird and awarded a brand new name, which no one seems to remember. On a granite snub on the island of Vepsa, we build a fire, uncork bottles, spread out the picnic, talk about style, rhyme, language, heat-seeking elk flies, bears and Bukowski. We've been drinking for days and not sleeping, having discovered how sauna tricks the mind and body into believing otherwise. In perpetual sunlight, hallucinations are a regular occurrence. The islands are still rivets in the iron sea, but they could turn at any moment. The wildlife knows how to live by extremes. There are thunder gods here and rumours of fish queens. There's many strange people in Finland. One of the other poets is called Esa Hirvonen, whose name translates as Jesus of the Elk. And he's a strange, very strange character, long hair. He was a millionaire, but he spent it all. And he's a bit of an alcoholic. He's doing all right now, though. He's got a job. He's a chef now. But when we went the first time, he was in a really bad state, and he just disappears out into the woods every winter to like detox in a cabin somewhere in the middle of the endless forest, and then reappear in the spring, resurrected. So anyway. I wrote a poem about him, because we ran a magazine. I was trying to interview him, and he was a very difficult guy to interview. So and he drove me mad, and I wanted to. But it's kind of about that, but it's also about Väinämöinen, who's the great Finnish legendary wizard from the national Finnish epic called Kalevala, and it's full of wizards and heroes and transformations and talking animals and things. But Väinämöinen, this poet who can move mountains with his words, and he takes everything back to the origins. He sings the origins of things, and he goes on quests, and he gets eaten by giants and things. He always loses the girl as well. He's a sad, morose character. Anyway, this is called Lovi, on interviewing Esa Hirvonen, and Lovi means love in Finnish, but in Old Finnish it was the hole that a shaman would fall through when they went on a spirit walk. Jesus of the Elk writes as a matter of personal survival. His poems are tracks through snow-covered woods, a tuft of coarse hair snagged on a barbed wire briar, burnt wood, cigarette butts. They lead to places I'd rather not visit, through brambles, hazels and junipers to the banks of a black river. He writes to get at the truth of things, sing the origins like a brooding enchanter, Väinämöinen, tired from freezing lakes, of moving mountains by hammering out the beat of words from inside the belly of a giant. But palindromes, he says, allow me to play. They lighten my mind. After talking with Jesus of the Elk on the banks of a black river with the music of the dead drifting over the water from the stereo in their summer house, my instinct is to spit in his face. I want to slide a spear into the side of this gentle creature, though I call him friend, and I'm not a violent man. I'm not a violent man. But he leaves me shambling and convinced that we all exist as nobody inside the Cyclops' gut, sometimes peering out of its fundamental eye at a world without perspective, scrabbling for 3 lost words to release us and complete the song of our ship, give it the spirit to cradle us as we continue our long, long voyage home.
Would you mind just one? We're running kind of rather late.
Short one or a long one?
A short one, please.
Okay. All right then. Well, this is just about. It's called Hungover Void Parlour. Void Parlour is a place in the middle of the forest. It's an artist's retreat in Finland, in the middle of the forest. It's a very beautiful place. You can go swimming in the lakes and stuff. And we always, when we go there, we have lots of plans to do lots of things, and we never do anything. It's called Hungover Void Parlour. The drooping birch trees against the night's cloudless sky are wrought iron gallows, heavy with chains. Around the roots, a century of dead dandelion heads reach for a wind strong enough to stir their future resurrection. Homesick, I hang in the company of a carved crow totem, in the heady scent of lilac blossom torches surrounding the sculpture garden. We've planned to go fishing tomorrow, after digging for worms, but as always, time slips its chains on the birches and floats away like seeds on the breeze. Thanks for listening.